Hi there, Frank Winston here, host of the weekly show for the Pacifica Historical Society, our show Footprints of Pacifica, where we discover and explore the lure and lore of lovely Pacifica, its characters and its character. We have a special guest tonight. Mildred Owen is the creator, the founder, and now the artistic director of what we call Pacifica Performances. We're going to review with Mildred how it began and where you got here. First of all, welcome, Mildred. And
thank you.
Where did you come from before here, and how did you come to Pacifica?
Well, I came to Pacifica in 1963. My first late husband was an avid bicyclist, and he rode in Pacifica. This was many years ago, before the freeway went in, and found some lovely places, Valleymar particularly, and that's where we bought our first house and moved to Pacifica in 1963.
Were you connected with the arts in any way at that point?
No, not at all. It was just the beauty of the place and wanting to live in a community like this.
And what brought you into the creation of Pacifica Performances?
Well, I was a music major in college. I went to Baylor University in Waco, Texas. I was born in Texas and grew up there. And then
But you slipped your accent somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm a singer, and singers don't have
well, they have
accent
to have multiple
like
accents, depending on the role.
Right.
Okay.
Depending on what we're singing.
Yes.
And then I got a master's at Teachers College, Columbia in New York City, and so it was, music has been my life all my many years. And when Pacifica Performances was founded, I was on the first board. I was then teaching at Mills College in Oakland and at Skyline College. And so that was 3 years ago, about that Pacifica Performances was founded in 1976. And a number of people got together in the city and said, we need an organization. And it was named Pacifica Arts and Heritage Council at the time, and for many, many years. And our first venue was the Pedro Point Firehouse, and there we had some classes, calligraphy, dance, some music. It was a place for art shows.
When the people founded it with you, was this intended to be both a school and a concert hall, or any particular type of performance, or just arts could cover the world?
Just arts at that time.
Not performing arts necessarily?
Not necessarily. We didn't have performances in the beginning.
Okay.
It was also a place where the artists could exhibit, the visual artists, and community people could come together as well in the arts. So we then started having some Sunday afternoon jazz concerts, and after a few years we moved to, we had to leave the Pedro Point Firehouse, so we moved to St. Edmund's Episcopal Church in the back of Lindemar Valley, and they were gracious hosts for us for a number of years. After that move, the community center was just newly finished, so we moved our concert series to the community center because it was much easier for people coming to Pacifica to find and to attend performances.
That was on Crespi Drive, where it is today.
Yes, on Crespi, where it is today. It was new at that time, and now at the community center we had a very nice venue, but we didn't have much control over how many performances we could have a month.
Because you shared it with the city of Pacifica.
Many other organizations,
and so on.
Right.
So you needed your own home.
Well, after finding our own home, we really had then a lot of free time to schedule our own performances, as many as we wanted, which got to be
now you have
almost
seasons.
every weekend,
right, you have
all year
seasons
long, with about 55 to 60 concerts a year. We had a very nice time at the community center, and then at one point we had a little office at Spindrift Theater on Crespi Drive also. And when the Pacifica Spindrift School of Performing Arts was formed for the young people, we had to vacate our office. The Art Guild had an office there. Roberta Ewald with Keyboard Productions had an office, and we did. It was just one little room, and we shared, a couple of us. So we had to leave, and I was looking for another office space because everything was then at my house, the telephone and the file cabinet.
So you had an office space separate from the performance
from where we were performing
location.
at the community center,
Right,
yes.
okay.
So I went over to the former Sanchez Elementary School where the artists had begun to renovate the building for an art center. All the classrooms were planning to be artist studios, and there were going to be 3 galleries. The old library was one, and the very wide corridors in both the East Wing and the West Wing are the other galleries. And I was looking for a little space for an office. So Andrew Leone was there and in handling most of the reorganization of that for the art center. And so we found a spot. And then at that time, I was also
When you say you found a spot for
a
an
little
office?
room,
or
a little
for the,
no, just a little room for the
You're
office.
still looking for an office?
Just a little office.
Okay.
And at the community center, we had some wonderful performances, and we had some Tibetan performances. Chak Sampa, the Tibetan opera and dance company, with some of the founders of that organizations living in Pacifica and in other places in the Bay Area. We had them perform a number of times, and 2 of the Tibetans were looking for a place to prepare their wedding feast. They were getting married, and it's their tradition that they have to prepare the food for their guests. So I was looking at the kitchen and decided
the kitchen
at the Sanchez
the community center,
former
the
school.
Sanchez, right.
Yeah, at the former Sanchez school, and decided that it wasn't in good enough condition to work. But I discovered the big multipurpose room, and it was in very poor repair with holes in the wall and crumbling tiles on the floor. But for some reason, I thought it would make a nice performance space, so I got to work on that. And lo and behold, many years, it's been about 12 years now, we've been there, and it's a very nice space, and all these many years we've been renovating and improving it.
Well, Mildred, Owen, we have a video of some of the
Yes.
background in it.
All
Hope
right.
you can interject as you
Okay.
see the video roll.
Yes. Okay. It's raining, and this is the walkway in back of the concert hall, and that is the inner courtyard and artist studios, and there is the art center galleries and studios, and we're still going toward the concert hall. This is a mosaic on the wall that the artists have done for the art center. This is still the inner courtyard again, and artist studios. Now there are the arches that go through to the sidewalk around to the front of the building, and there it is, the entrance to the concert hall with the blue doors, and the mosaic arches down the walkway. So it is, as you can see, a very large, old former school, but
It's functional.
it's very
for you.
functional. Many of the community members got together to paint the walls. Actually, where those mosaics are, it was all solid wall.
Oh.
And we knocked that out, and there was a project to do all those mosaics for that entrance. And then I hope we will see the mural in a moment.
What's the address?
1220 Lindemar Boulevard,
Okay.
and there is the website, www.pacificaperformances.org, and that will give performance schedules and information about the concert hall. And there's the mural that Andrew Leone designed, and many members of the community helped paint. We had a big scaffolding up to do all that painting, and it's still a beautiful mural today. That was in 1998 that mural was finished.
Are we having a 10th anniversary celebration coming up?
Yes, it
We
looks
might as
like
well
it.
bring back some of the original artists.
Right.
Okay. With regard to the performances, if you've been there for 30 years, what stands out not necessarily at that location, but including the earlier locations, as some of the major events that you enjoyed or the public and community wanted. Let's have them back. Let's have them back.
Well, we have had many, many wonderful performances, as you can imagine, and we actually have a number of world-class performers right here in Pacifica. We have Jim and Morning Nichols, and Morning is the chair of the board right now for Pacifica Performances, and also associate artistic director, does a lot of the booking now for concerts, as well as I also do bookings. And Jim is on the board, and Bobby Norris and Larry Dunlap live in Pacifica. They are wonderful performers. She's a singer. Larry is a pianist, arranger, jazz pianist. He plays for Cleo Lane, and in fact, I think is this weekend in Dallas, Fort Worth. When Cleo Lane is here from England, he plays for her all over the country in her performances.
When you mentioned some of these performers, the concert hall still belongs to the city in the sense, not as far as ownership, but as far as the if somebody wants to present something, you have the season. But if someone wants to perform or showcase something, it's available for them to talk to you.
They can talk to us in our office and see if the date is available. And we do have many, actually many community organizations, particularly the nonprofit organizations, have events at the concert hall. And people record there. It's a wonderful acoustic place.
I guess it's nasty, but I have to put in a plug for PCT. We also have events there.
Yes, you do.
For
Channel 26,
Channel
Pacifica
26. And you
Community
welcome us.
Television, yes.
Yes, and you're a gracious hostess too.
And let's look at Golden Bough, because they have been, I'm sorry we don't have a bigger picture of Golden Bough, but Golden Bough has been performing for our organization for many, since the Firehouse, ever since, for all these 31 years. And formerly, Margie Butler and Paul Espinoza lived in Pacifica. Now they live in Oregon. And along with Kathy Sierra, they form Golden Bough, and they're very popular performing artists and always draw a full house. And so we love to have them. Some of the other performers, this young lady is a solo pianist. She's going to be a wonderful concert artist soon. And then we can look at these two. They're from Germany, and they have been to Pacifica Performances a couple of times. That's Friedrich Edelman bassoon and Rebecca Rust cello. And then we'll look at the picture of Jim and Morning, because Jim is Jim is a national fingerstyle guitarist, and Jim and Morning is a wonderful singer, and they perform in France and in Memphis and all over the country as well. So we are very fortunate that we have wonderful artists in Pacifica. We also have traveling artists. We've had a piano series, a guitar series, a speakers series. We have also...
When you have a speakers, is that on performances or is that just lectures?
No, it was
like
lectures.
The old Chautauqua series where that used to be the way for they'd talk for 2 hours and audience were captivated by that.
Yes.
Today you get 30-second sound bites, but that's a different issue.
We had a speaker series, and we had Jeff Raskin before he died on our series, and ZZ Packer, a great writer who lives in Pacifica, and various other local people. John Flynn, who writes for the Chronicle, he's the travel editor. He was one of our speakers.
In all this time, did Mr. Rob Schneider come to pass?
And Rob Schneider came and previewed one of his latest movies for us, which was very, very nice.
The audience should know that Rob is a hometown boy.
Rob is a hometown boy.
And has a music foundation.
Right, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now how about some of your favorites, and we can preface this with, I know I might have left out somebody, don't be offended, etc. But just in case we were to take a few that you remember right at this moment, that's who you mentioned.
Will Durst was a wonderful political satirist, and we had him in 2007. And actually we did a joint benefit for Pacifica Spindrift Players and Pacifica Performances with Will's evening performance. And it was to benefit both organizations, and he was very, very gracious and helped us a lot, and it was a wonderful event.
I was there. It was a wonderful
Oh, good. I'm
event.
glad you were there.
Deborah, his wife, performed with him and did a
Yes,
shtick.
yes,
And then you had several other
Right,
people.
yeah.
That was great to see Pacificans tied in as well.
Yes, yes.
Others who come to mind.
Well, Kay Stern is the concertmaster of the San Francisco Opera Orchestra, and Kay has played for us a number of times, and Joan Nagano, who also lives in Pacifica. Joan is a very wonderful chamber music pianist. So Joan Nagano and Kay Stern have worked together before and done concerts. And I'm very happy that Kay Stern is now on our board of directors.
So there are local people involved.
Local
That's terrific.
that people just don't know what wonderful talent of all kinds, writers and musicians and filmmakers.
I'm going to mention one of my favorites.
What's that?
Wesla Whitfield.
Oh yes,
Even though
Wesla.
she may not be from Pacifica, her
Yes.
voice and her character,
And
she
Wesla.
draws people here too.
Oh yes,
you know?
Wesla and Mike Greensill, her husband, have been on our performance series a number of times, and they're just quite wonderful. Let's see who else I could think of.
Actually,
Skyline Concert Choir.
a local person here who I could plug for Laugh Locally is Ian Butler.
Yeah, Ian
And
is-
He often entertains with many of the
Yes,
fundraisers.
Ian is Margie Butler's brother.
Oh.
And Margie is Golden Bough.
Right.
So Ian is usually there when Golden Bough is there. We've had the Curios with Nancy Hall and Lee Parvin.
And Nancy's local.
Nancy's local, she brings lots of people in. And we've had Buddy Love, who is the lounge lizard type, Las
Right,
Vegas,
right,
and he is
right.
funny, man,
Yeah.
and very, very enjoyable. We've had a number of opera performances and super titles as well.
I went to one about 6 months ago that blew me away, and it was the California Opera Company.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that they only performed on weekends because they come from all over the state. They're not just coming from San Francisco type of thing.
Right.
Marvelous voices and the whole
Yes.
presentation.
Yeah, yeah.
And they get to come back every so often.
Yes, oh yes they do. They'll be back pretty soon.
We're not finished with the interview, but I'd like to plug in here. If someone wants to get in touch with you, with the organization Pacifica Performances, even for tickets, who do they contact or how do they contact?
Well, either the web, which we had the address there on the screen, or the phone number is 650-359-0499. Oh no, that's my phone number, sorry.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
All right.
You got that all? This is in the day of privacy. No
Okay.
more confidentiality.
650-355-1882.
And if Mildred answers, hang on the line. It's
That's
okay.
right.
Okay.
See, I answer a lot too, so I have to use my phone occasionally.
We'll get into the issue of fundraising for a moment, but outside of that, which everyone expects nonprofits always need to have it unless they get some endowment suddenly, what other kind of problems are there in associating a art group to be on every week and publicize it and the like?
Well, we are a largely volunteer organization, and we have many wonderful volunteers who help at the door, who help in all kinds of ways. In fact, our hospitality people, Donald and Jenny Barnaby, have been doing all of the hospitality, all of the refreshments for a number of years now, and they come from Montero faithfully. And when the slide was out for a number of months, they drove all the way around every single concert, never missed a one. Donald has to come at least 2 hours in advance of the time for beginning the concert to get the coffee made and the wine and cookies and chips and everything ready. So they're very dedicated. So we always are welcoming new volunteers.
That again would be the same phone, same website.
355-1882.
You got the right one,
I got the
okay.
right one this
All
time.
right.
We have, how we raise money is through donations. from our members. We have membership, and membership is $25 a year for an individual and $35 for a household, and that entitles people to a discount at every concert. $5 regular or $3 if it's a senior discount. And through our membership, that gives us some assurance of having some money in the coffers to pay the musicians, which after all is our most important part.
I understand that some of these artists perform elsewhere and draw much greater fees and
yes.
charge more at the
Yes.
door. Pacifica is a steal, really,
Yes, it
relative
is.
to the quality of the talent and the prices you charge for the concerts and the programs.
Right. We try to keep our admission fees very reasonable, and from $12 to $20, and 20 is the highest, and we also really provide as wonderful audiences and wonderful hospitality for our musicians, and they love to come and perform, even if we can't pay as high as some of their venues do, and as high as we'd like to. But we have great rapport with our musicians, and they love to come and perform.
I also noticed that you enjoy publicity in some of the local papers.
Yes.
The Examiner, the Chronicle, and the San Mateo County Times, and of course, the Pacifica Tribune.
Is just
Every
generous.
week basically has an entire page
Yes.
devoted to what's entertainment. Who's coming to Sanchez Concert Hall
Right.
this week?
Yes.
So they can't know, except they may not know 3 weeks in advance, but that they can know by knowing who your series is, because
Right.
you promote your series, your season, maybe 4 months in advance, 5 months in advance.
Every 3 months we send out a snail mail copy to everyone on our mailing list, and then we also have an email list which we encourage people to join, because that way we just give them updates, and we do not abuse our email list or give it out to anyone. It's just to let people know what's coming up and if there are any changes.
If somebody wanted to write blind and just say Pacifica Performances, Pacifica 94044, will it get to you anyway?
I think so. I
That's
think
good.
the
Well,
post
let's
office
encourage-
knows where we are.
Let's encourage the people to do that, because it is an easy place to find once you're
Yes.
on Lindemar.
Right on
Boulevard.
Lindemar, 1220 Lindemar Boulevard. One more thing about admissions. We
You can.
like to have kids at our concerts.
Please.
So kids under 18 are always free, to every performance that we have. And we encourage families and young people of all ages. And about once a quarter, we have a concert for kids. That's for the little kids and the parents, and that's free on a Saturday morning.
You might as well add that it's definitely handicapped accessible.
Yes, it is.
Wheelchair accessible.
Right.
So that's
Yep.
very, very good to me. What do you see in the future, in the sense of, one of the things that's coming up is technology, and everybody is now looking at iPods and videos and so on. Will that create more audiences? Will that be a different generation that really doesn't care about live shows because they can plug it in and see it in 20 seconds?
There is nothing, not anything at all, that takes the place of a live performance, because there is an exchange between a silent exchange between the audience and the musicians that you cannot get on an iPod or a CD or a DVD or a television set. And so I hope that there will be even more attendance at live performances as people realize the importance of being in a place where there is that excitement, that communication, that aliveness in the performance. I personally am very excited about the simulcast of the operas from the Metropolitan Opera in New York, and now San Francisco Opera is going to do some videos of their operas from last season. I think it will open up the public's eye to more.
Well, the purist who says it should only be in the voice of Italian or Russian or German or so on, and they don't want to see those, they're really not distracting the subtitles. They're in English and they translate.
There's no excuse anymore, because super titles are there, and you can exactly know what's going on. And besides, the music and the musicians are very communicative. So even if you didn't know what was going on, you'd have the idea from the music, as we did in the old days. But now there is the super titles, and the San Francisco Opera even has some opera vision close-ups up in the balcony of what's going on stage nowadays.
Well, someday you will have that facility to do the opera vision with Pacifica performances. And we have to close the show at this time, Mildred.
Oh, dear.
Well, that happens. The show goes on, but
Right.
in this case, the show has to close.
All right.
It's been a pleasure chatting
Thank
with
you.
you. Urge people
Thank
to go
you.
more to Pacifica performances, where they will have, and I hope they're running now, how to reach Pacifica performances. The Historical Society is the one that presents this show, and so I will give a plug. I've given 14 plugs for Pacifica performances, one plug for the host of Pacifica Historical Society, P.O. Box 752, Pacifica 94044. We too welcome volunteers to work on projects to restore Pacifica's colorful history. And remember, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time.